Now, I should say that there does seem to be some evidence that the congressman may be right, at least in some part. I and my staff have watched the video after video of some of these meetings as they start to get out of control, and we do hear many of the same slogans repeated again and again and again. As a matter of fact, here's some.
The direct assault on our personal liberties, our personal freedom, our personal privacy. You need to open it up to the free markets. You need to get the government the hell out of our way.
There you go. Some of the themes: socialized medicine, give us back our government, let the free markets work, euthanasia, and quote unquote, read the bill. There are instances where you hear people sound like they're reading from, in fact, the same script. And that's what the White House is now saying as well. But they're even taking it to another step. They're taking it a step forward. They're accusing a specific conservative healthcare executive of orchestrating these protests. That's why we've invited that executive, Rick Scott, to join us here. And he's going to be here in just a moment to try and defend himself. But first, let me bring in Eric Bowler of the liberal media watchdog group Media Matters. Good afternoon, Eric.
Hey, Rick.
Is this thing orchestrated?
Oh, there's no question. I mean, there's nothing wrong with activism. There's nothing wrong with rallying people for a point of view and having your views heard. But it's ironic. Here we have a town hall forum, and basically the entire premise is to shut down any conversation, shut down any debate, yell and heckle and scream and sort of chase congressmen to their cars. That's being orchestrated, and it has really nothing to do with healthcare. It's tapping into, you know, a sort of a radical minority which has a deep-seated hatred of Barack Obama. These town hall forums could be really about any topic, and you could fill in the rhetoric.
But isn't this? I mean, look historically at the United States. Isn't this what our descendants did, who founded this country in Boston? I mean, you know.
Yeah,
hey.
This is not the New England town hall meeting.
Why not? Why not?
Because the whole point of that is not to get up and have as many loudmouths in one room and scream and yell and shout at, you know, and insult congressmen. The point of town hall meetings, as we've seen in the last few decades, is to have an actual civil conversation and to have different points of view. This idea that you're going to have these mini mobs run the congressmen out of town, what's that have to do with democracy, and what's that have to do with, you know, any sort of public debate? So the irony is, you know, these town hall forums are supposed to be for debate, and, you know, and sort of the right wing has decided, well, we'll use it to put the kibosh on any actual debate. Well, so no one is really talking about health care. No one's really talking about, you know, what's in the bill and what the country's going to do going forward.
Yeah, no, there is a lot of sloganeering. You're right. You mentioned right wing, and look, to be fair, aside from the conservative media, which is obviously, and we know who they are, they're going to push back on anything that Obama suggests, no matter what it is. It goes further, because now the White House is involved in this, and Robert Gibbs is saying, he said it Tuesday, that this thing is being orchestrated by a big buck healthcare executive. Right. And he didn't name that executive, but he said enough about him that we were able to construe that he's probably talking about our next guest, who's coming on in just a little bit, which is Rick Scott. Right. Is that what you heard him saying? There's Rick Scott's picture, by the way.
Well, yeah, I mean, Rick Scott is in the business to make money off people who are uninsured or underinsured. I mean, his whole business model in terms of his, you know, walking clinics is to have a huge population in America that is either underinsured or has no insurance. So obviously he's got a horse in this race, and he created Conservatives for Patients' Rights, CPR, and they've been actively in the press trying to take credit for these town hall forums, trying to take credit, you know, for these mini mobs, and sure, of course they're behind this. Of course the healthcare industry wants to see no healthcare reform enacted, and you can't really. I know you want to sort of set aside the right-wing media, but it's impossible. That is at least half of the story here, and that's the noise machine at work.
I'm looking at his website, though, where he actually, if you go to his website, and, you know, he has been interviewed on some of those media that you and I don't need to mention, but every one of our viewers knows exactly who they are. And look, go ahead, Bobby, Robert, go ahead and put that up. I'm looking at his website right now. There he lists Alaska. He tells people exactly when the town hall meetings are going to be. If you go through this enough, and it's hard to do it on this one right there. There's all the town hall meetings for everyone to see. And I'm going to ask him in a minute. I mean, this is something he's probably proud of. I mean, he's an American. He's telling other Americans what they can do. He also has videos here showing what they've done so far. What do you make of that?
Yeah, that's great. You know, and now a lot of liberal groups are letting everyone know when these town hall meetings are because they want representation there too. The point is, and there's nothing wrong with getting people to town hall forums. The point is, he's running, you know, these $1 million ad campaign. You know, he hired the Swift Boat for Veteran publicists, and now he's hiring, you know, spending millions of dollars on misinformation.
Where's the money coming from this, you think? I mean, he started it by himself, you know.
Well, he is. He got a bunch of money when he was running Columbia healthcare in the 90s.
Yeah, which was an empire. I mean, that thing was huge.
Which pled guilty and had to pay $1.7 billion fine for defrauding the government. His company systematically overbilled the government on Medicare, and now he's warning people about if the government gets involved in healthcare, it's going to cost too much. There's a little double standard there, but look, the whole movement is built around scare tactics. The right-wing, media is absolutely. I mean, these people at these town hall forums are nervous and angry. Well, they're literally being told the federal government is going to be in the business of selectively choosing which old people to kill. I mean, who wouldn't be freaked out?
That is something that's been out there. Eric, I'm going to let you go. Rick, Scott's going to be coming up in just a little bit. We thank you for that perspective, as usual. My best to you. Come on back.
Okay.